Monthly conversation with resource conservationist Meghan Pettit with the Whiteside County Soil and Water Conservation District. She'll give us information on conservation and how to protect our soil, water, and habitat.
Now here is Greg Naftzger and Meghan Pettit.
Hello, Meghan.
Hi.
Meghan Pettit with us this morning from the Whiteside County Soil and Water Conservation District. And you've got some items you want to run through.
Yeah, I got a few things.
Yeah, and
kind of a little hodgepodge of everything today.
Well, that's good.
So right now is a good time to do tree trimming. The best time is between late fall and early spring, and we're obviously right in the middle of that. And it's the best time because trees are in their dormant period right now. So it's, if you have to go out and get some trimming done, it's a good day for it. And you want to leave the desirable trees like oaks and hickories and walnuts. So these trees are going to have a higher timber value if you're logging and if that's your end goal. It's always a good idea to remove the more invasive trees like cottonwood, silver maples, and mulberries. I know we have mulberries pop up like every 15 seconds at our house.
Mulberry tree that's very old, been there a long time.
Yeah.
Birds love it.
So do my goats.
And deer.
Yep.
They like walking up and eating this.
Yeah.
And
so you shouldn't take more than a third of the trees from an area in any given year. If too many are removed, you run the risk of wind throw, and that's, they're just going to be blown over. You can remove invasives by one of four ways: the cut stump method, basal bark spraying, girdling, or prescribed burning. The cut stump method is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You cut the tree off at the ground level and then apply a herbicide to the stump. Basal bark application is done by spraying the lower 12 to 15 inches, including the root collar, until it's wet, and that'll kill it. Girdling is when you cut two connecting rings into the tree about 3 inches apart and then about a half an inch deep. So that's going to cut off all the circulation of everything. Eventually the tree will fall. And then burning is self-explanatory. Most of the undesirables are not fire tolerant and will succumb. But the native species can bounce back from that. Whiteside County Soil and Water is doing our annual spring fish and tree sale again. So we have order forms available at the office. And I know that we'll be sending out a newsletter. There are forms in the newsletter. And
how do folks get that newsletter sent to them or email?
You could call us and we'll put you on a list.
Okay.
And then I believe they'll be on the website as well.
Okay.
Or you can just call us. We can get one sent to you. We're also having an election for our board members. So on February 1st, we have a board member that is running again, and then we have a new board member that's in the running. So if you're a resident of Whiteside County, come out and vote. We'll be there from voting hours are 7 to 4:30.
Okay.
So stop by. And then I wanted to talk about starting seeds in your house.
Okay.
So if you're an avid gardener, you might want to think about starting seeds indoors. This is going to give them a good head start, and they'll grow longer, and they'll have a longer harvest or a longer flowering period. You can buy seeding trays, but the article that I found said that you can pretty much start them in anything that allows drainage. You'll have to have a drip tray, obviously, to collect drips, and then you'll want a clear cover for the tray to keep the moisture in as the seeds germinate. Soil-wise, you want to have a sterile, lightweight, moisture-retaining soil, but that's also well-draining. You can get soil specifically for seed starting at garden stores.
Yeah.
You also need a grow light, and you can find bulbs specifically for plants at, I would think, hardware stores. You want to mist the soil so that it stays moist but not soggy. And then once the plants have grown a bit, you can start watering it with a watering can. Make sure that you label them because you want to know what you're growing. You don't want to just have willy-nilly everywhere in your garden. It'd be a little confusing. So in January, you can start arugula, lettuce, onions, and scallions. In February, broccoli, eggplant, kale, pansies, parsley, peas, peppers, snapdragons, spinach, and tomatoes. March is bachelor's button, cauliflower, corn, cosmos, marigolds, tomatillos. And I should have looked up what a tomatillo is because I have no idea.
Never heard of that.
No.
Me either.
I should have. Swiss chard and zinnias. In April, basil, beans, bok choy, cucumbers, melons, pumpkins, and summer and winter squash. So you can, that's a lot to start. So you could get a really good head start on everything.
Yeah, I got one of my brother-in-laws, a good gardener. He's always got a great garden, and he starts a lot of seeds, especially when it's time to get your tomatoes.
Yeah.
Now, what month was that?
Tomatoes are in February.
February, okay.
Yep. And so if I was really cool, I would do this myself, and I would tell you my experiences and how it's going for me. But I am a terrible gardener, and I don't have any patience for it. So on the flip side of this, I'll go the other way, and I bought an incubator, and I'm going to hatch chickens. I can let you know how that goes.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
interesting.
I can't tell you about gardening. We'll see. So interestingly enough, I was looking for incubators, and I found one on Amazon. So then I was looking for fertilized eggs, because you have to have fertilized eggs. And from chicken hatcheries, they can get pretty pricey. Wouldn't you know it? You can get those on Amazon too. So I ordered those. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And then in the last couple of days, I've noticed some really large flocks of geese overhead, and I thought they would have migrated by now, so I did a little digging. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about birds, so I had to do a little research. Where we live, we're not very far from the river, but it seems like every fall we have a flock of geese that kind of take up residence in the fields around us, and it seems like there are more and more each year. So in my little research, I found an article that talked about how more and more geese have taken up residence in Chicago, year-round. And a lot of this is because the geese have learned they're safer in the city. So essentially they've learned that, in rural areas, people in a cornfield is generally going to be a hunter. It's not going to be good for them. But people in the city, they can ignore and they'll be fine. And hunters account for most deaths of geese in the wild, so the geese living in cities are thriving. I guess I didn't realize they were that smart. If comparing them to my chickens are not smart, so I didn't know they were that smart. But I guess in small spaces like cities, they can also spread diseases and become more people aggressive, so that's not really good either. But I kind of wonder if that's a little bit of what's happening where I live, because the cornfields kind of where I'm at are surrounded by residential areas. So you really couldn't get in there and hunt anything. Yeah. So they're pretty safe where they are, and I think they've learned that. They just kind of torment all of my other animals.
Something that's inborn,
Yeah. And then... So late season deer hunting, shotgun hunting in Rock Island County is this weekend. Unfortunately, I was unable to go the last weekend in December. I went to an auction and I bought a horse, and I had a wedding to go to, so I couldn't go. And then this weekend, I think I have a bridal shower to go to, so no luck on the late season deer hunting for me. So
they're safe for now.
They're safe for now, yeah. Well, even when I went out there, I didn't get anything. I don't know. I'm 0 for 2 on my hunting season, so not the best record.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. And then, but it is antlerless only, so for late season. And then trapping. Most trapping seasons are still going, and they don't close until the 15th of February. So that was all I had for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was, I lost my train of thought. I was just so interested in what you were saying. Now, you've been with the Whiteside County Soil and Water District. You've been there almost a year.
Almost a year. I
And,
started March 1st.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
what have you learned lately that you need to know and use?
I've learned an awful lot about CRP and what's right and what's not right. I have learned, we have a cost share program, so I learned a lot about how cost share is paid out and given and how to do applications. I've learned a lot about CRP and going out and taking a look at everything and seeing what's right, what's not right.
Explain that to me again.
So I go out and so the FSA holds all the CRP contracts. So when they need to be checked, they send me out and I tell them, if it's right, if it meets the standards, if it's wrong, how it's not meeting the standards, stuff like that. It's been really interesting. I've definitely learned a lot about that in this adventure. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Dave Harrison always talked about CRP.
Yeah.
There's something going on every month for it.
And, trying to not talk about it as much, but I will.
Okay.
I'll get back into it.
All right. Well, we got a couple of minutes to go here. What you got coming up later this month or start of February?
So I'll get my next list of CRP contracts to check. Should be any time. So I'll get out there and get as many done as I can before the crop gets in and gets growing. The more I get done now, the less I have to do at the end of the month or the end of the year and scramble. So hopefully we'll get started on that pretty quick. Work-wise, it's mostly just CRP. I am going to get a puppy at the end of January, so that'll be interesting.
And you said you got chickens.
I'm going to hatch some chickens. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah.
Oh, good. Well, let's wrap her up here for today. Again, I've been with Meghan Pettit from the Whiteside County Soil and Water Conservation District. And thank you, Meghan.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. The Whiteside County Soil and Water Conservation District program is heard at 9:15 a.m. on the second Tuesday of every month right here on KROS.